Hey there, my name is Tony and I'm the original creator of all the videos that you've been watching on the Dev Dojo YouTube channel. And I just want to thank you for subscribing or even watching this video. And I do want to take this time to let you know about a new platform at devdojo.com. And at Dev Dojo you can learn premium lessons, series, and videos from web development, web design, and even tech in general. So I would encourage you to check it out and maybe subscribe to check out some of the premium videos, courses, and series. Hey there, in this video we're going to show you how to upload a user avatar for your users in Laravel. Let's say that you start off with a new Laravel application and you use the bootstrap version of their authentication. Well, let's go ahead and just log in with an account. Let's say that we already registered with a user called johnsmith@gmail.com and his password. So we log in, and then by default you are not given this user image up here, and you usually only have just your drop-down name and then you have a logout button. But in this video we're going to show you how to create a profile page where the user can upload their own avatar, and then they can click on submit and save the avatar to the user object. So you can see here, if we click on the choose file and we upload a new avatar and then we click on submit, then sure enough we have a new avatar for our profile, and it updates over here too. So then we can click on our profile, log out, or navigate the application. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to just show you what I have laid out in front of us. So I just created a new Laravel application, and that just points to testapp.dev. And then I also have a database just called testapp with nothing in the database. And I am running this on Vagrant Homestead right here in front of me. So the first step that I'm going to want to do is to do the PHP artisan make auth. So I want to add the authentication to my Laravel app. So I'll just do that running PHP artisan make auth. And now it has created all the views and all the correct routes for me. And the next thing that I want to do before I add the database and do the migrations, I want to add another row to our users table. So now if I go ahead and open up this application in my favorite text editor, and I am using Sublime Text, and if anybody is going to ask me, I'm using the Sublime Text material theme. So then I will want to go into my database and my migrations. And by default, when I did that PHP artisan make auth, I got created these two migrations, which is the passwords reset table and the create users table. So what I want to do is I want to go into the create users table migration, and I want to add a new row. We have the name, the email, and the password, and I also want to have a new row that is a string that we are just going to call avatar. And this is where we are going to store the avatar image. And I will make this default to a default.jpg. So we'll just have to put a default JPG image in our avatar location. So I'm going to save that, and I need to update the env file. So I need to update our database file. So I know that the database is testapp, and we're just going to use the username homestead and the password as secret. So if I save this, then I can go back into my terminal and run php artisan migrate. And once I run that, then I can go ahead and open up my database. And if I refresh here, you can see that we have the migrations table, our password resets, and we also have our users table. And you can see now that we have this name, email, and we have the avatar row, so we can add the image that the user has uploaded. So now if I go ahead and go back to my Laravel test app and I reload, you can see that we have a bootstrap version of our authentication. And this is just the very basics of setting up the Laravel authentication. So let's go ahead and register for a new account, and I'm going to register as the name John Doe and johndoe@gmail.com, and then I will add my password and I will register for an account. And I will make sure that the passwords match. So let me go ahead and make sure that this matches. Okay, and now I have just created a new user account, and you can see up here I can click on John Doe and I can click on logout, or I can click on the home page and it will say you're at the dashboard and you are logged in. Then let's go ahead and try out the logout, and then let's log back in again. So I just want to show you that the full authentication system is working. Okay, and now I log in. So let's say that we wanted to actually have a profile page. So we want to add a new menu right here that says profile, so the user can click on their name and click on the profile or log out. So let's go ahead and open up our resources, views, and we need to go to our layout file. So the default layout is the app.blade.php. And I'm going to scroll down here and you can see that we have these unordered lists. So if we are a guest, then we'll show the login and register. Otherwise, we will show the current username. And maybe we also want to show the profile page. So let's go ahead and copy this logout. And let's paste this right here. And let's just call this profile. And then I will change the icon to a user icon, and we will direct the user to the profile route. So if I save this and reload, and we click on the user, then we can click on profile or log out. And if I click on profile, then sure enough, we're going to get an error page because we have not created that route. So let's go ahead and create that route by opening up our routes.php, which is located in app http routes.php. Then let's create this route here. Let's just say route. Once we get the route profile, then we want to point this to a user controller and the profile method. So since we don't have a user controller yet, let's go ahead and create that. So we can do that by saying PHP artisan make controller user controller. Okay, and after we've created that, then we can go to our app http and controllers folder, and you can see now that we have the user controller.php. So let's go ahead and create this method. So we'll say public function profile. And then in here we want to, let's say, return a view that is called profile. And we need to pass it an array of data. So let's go ahead and pass it the user, the current user that is logged in. And we can just do that by saying auth user. And up here at the top, we'll probably also need to say use auth because we want to use the auth facade. So then I will save this file, and now let's create our profile.blade.php, this view. So let's go ahead and duplicate the home.blade.php, and let's just create a new file, paste this in, and save this as profile.blade.php. And let's just go ahead and make sure that this is working. So I will remove all this and just say my profile. So if I save this and I go back to the /profile route, and I'm currently logged in, and it is giving me undefined class constant user controller line 13. Let's see what's going on here. So undefined constant user. Okay, we actually need to open and close another set of parentheses. So if we reload, then sure enough, we get the my profile page. So let's go ahead and print out the user's name. So if I go back to my profile.blade.php, I can then just wrap this in. Let's do an H2. And I will say user name, and then we will say profile. So if I save this and reload, then now we have John Doe's profile. And let's say that we wanted John Doe's image to be over here on the left. So let's go ahead and add that inside of the profile file. And we can go ahead and just add an image here and the source. And let's say that we want to store all of our avatars in a folder called uploads and another folder called avatars. So then once we have the user's avatar that they have uploaded, we will just say we want to get the user avatar, and this will give us the file name. So let's go ahead and give this a little bit of style. So let's say that we want it to be a width of 150 pixels and a height of 150. Then we want this to float left, and let's give it a border radius of 50%. So this will give us a nice round image. So 50. And then maybe we want to have a margin right of 25 pixels. So let me go ahead and save this and go back here and reload the page. And you can see this actually is trying to point to an image that is not there. So it's trying to point to uploads, avatars, default.jpg. So let's go ahead and add that image right now, because this is going to be the default image for all of our users. So if I go ahead and go into the test app and I go to public, I will want to create a new folder in here. So I will just call this uploads. And then I will create a new folder and call this avatars. And I have a few images on my desktop right here. So let's go ahead and drag this default.jpg into the avatars folder. So now if I come back here and I reload, you can see now that we have the default image. So by default, when anybody signs up, the default value for the avatar is default.jpg. So this will be the default image for any user that registers. So let's say then that we wanted to allow them the ability to upload their own photo and then save their profile. So let's go back to the profile and let's create a new form. And in this form, we need to add the attribute of ink type equals, and we'll say multi-part / form data. And this is, you need this in order to upload any image through a form. So then we'll say that we want the action, we want this to post to the profile route. And we want this to be a method of post. Okay, and then let's create a label. Let's say label, and we'll say update profile image. Okay, and let's go ahead and create an input type of file, and we'll give this a name of avatar. Okay, and then let's go ahead and create our input hidden type, and this is for our Csrf validation token. And if you're unfamiliar with what this is, then you may need to just do a crash course on the Laravel basics. And we have this a value of, and thanks to Laravel, we have this helper function just called Csrf token. Okay, and then we also need a submit button. So type equals submit, and we'll give this a couple classes, such as we want it to maybe be pulled to the right. We want it to have a button class and a button small, and then a button primary. So let me go ahead and format this, and let's reload the page. Okay, now if we reload the page, now we have John Doe's profile, and we can update our profile image and then click on submit. So let's go ahead and test this out. Let's choose an image, and let's click on open, and let's click on submit. And sure enough, we would expect an error page because we have not handled that profile post route. So let's go ahead and add that right now. So let's go back to our routes.php, and we also need to create a route that gets posted for this profile route. And we want this to map to user controller, and let's call this update avatar. So then we need to create a new function that is called update avatar. And let's go ahead and spell this correctly, update avatar inside of our user controller. So let's go back in here and say public function update avatar. And we probably need to accept the request, and this is going to be the request that gets sent from the form. So inside of here, we need to handle the user upload of avatar. So before we do this, what we're going to do is we're going to use a package called image intervention. And if you've been using Laravel for a while, this is actually a pretty popular package, and it's just a package for uploading images, manipulating images, resizing images, and it's very easy to use. So let's go ahead and just Google image intervention. And I can see that the first result here is the image intervention package. And I can say read the install guide. I can scroll down, and it says to install we need to say composer require intervention image. So let's go ahead and run this. So composer require intervention image. And after that has been added, then I can go back here and I can scroll down to see the Laravel integration. So it says that to integrate this into Laravel, we need to add this class to our providers array inside of our config app.php. So let's go ahead and open up that file. If we go into our project and our config app.php, I can scroll down and I can find the providers array. So I have this providers array, and I can just paste this right in here. And then if I go back to the image intervention instructions, it says we also need to add this facade to our aliases class, or to our aliases array. So let's go ahead and scroll down. We can see that we have our aliases array right here, and this will just allow us to use the image as a shorthand to reference this class. So I'm going to go ahead and save that and then go back to our user controller, and we can say that we want to be able to use the image class inside of this controller. So now what we will do is we need to say if this request, and we'll say has file, and the name that we gave the input was avatar. So we know that if we have a file with this input, then the user has decided to upload a new avatar. And let's go ahead and store this in a variable. So we'll call this avatar, and we'll say that we want the request file from avatar. Okay, and then let's go ahead and create a new file name. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the current time, and it's just going to be random time, so it's going to give us a random file name every time. And then we also need to add the file extension. So we'll just get the original file extension by saying avatar, and we'll say get client original extension. And this will give us the original extension. If it's a PNG or a JPG, it'll give us the current extension. So let's also go ahead and now use the image facade or the image class, and we can say image make, and we want to make this image. So we'll say make avatar, and then we want to go ahead and resize this, and we want to resize it to 300 by 300. And then we want to save this image, and let's go ahead and save it to, we'll say public path, and this is a helper method provided by Laravel that's going to give us the current path to our public folder. And inside of our public folder, we want this to go into uploads and avatars folder. And then we want to have this be saved to the file name. And let's go ahead and add a / right here. And then we need to get the current logged in user. So we will say auth user, and we want to store the file name inside of the avatar row that we originally created. So we will say user avatar is going to be this file name, and then we will save the user. And now then we can just redirect them, or actually just return the current profile. So we'll just return their profile, and then they will have an updated avatar image. So let's go ahead and save this and go back to our profile page, and let's just reload this, and let's choose a file, choose the image that we want to upload as our new avatar, and click on submit. And then sure enough, you can see now we have a new avatar for our profile. And if I look in the database, we will see this new file in here. So if I go to content and I look at John Doe, and I see that his avatar is 146.32.83.007.jpg. So now if I open up my current avatars folder, you can see that we have this new file that the user has uploaded. So this is awesome. We've now added the ability for our users to upload their own avatars. Let's say that we also wanted the avatar to show up here next to their name. Well, that's simple enough. We could do that just by editing the app.blade.php. So let's go to the profile, and I'm just going to go ahead and copy this image source right here. And here I will just want to paste this in right before the username. So I will also want to change the user object to auth user. And we'll get the current avatar. And let's go ahead and give this a little bit of style. So we'll say that we want this to have a width of 32 pixels and a height of 32 pixels. And let's say that we want to position this absolute. And we want it to be at a top of 10 pixels and left of 10 pixels. And let's also give it a border radius of 50% so we get a nice round image. And since we did position this absolute, we need to make sure that the parent, so this A attribute right here, or this A tag, is positioned relative. So let's say style equals position relative, and let's give it a padding left of 50 pixels. So if I save this and I reload, go ahead and just go back to the profile page, you can see now that we have John Doe's image up here at the top right. We can click on John Doe, we can go to the profile, or we can log out. So you can see that it's nice because inside of the header bar, they will always have their avatar, and it gives them kind of more of an ownership of they're logged in, and they're logged in as this current user with this avatar. So then let's go ahead and log out, and let's just create a new user from scratch. So a user has landed on our app, and they go up here to the register, and they want to register for a new account, and this is John Smith. And we'll say johnsmith@gmail.com. And we'll go ahead and enter in a password. And hopefully I've entered in the correct password both times, and I did. Okay, so you can see up here at the top right, John Smith now has this default avatar. And John Smith can now click on his name and go to profile, and then he can choose to upload his own avatar. So John Smith is this handsome looking guy right there. So if we open that up and click on submit, then sure enough, John Smith was able to update his avatar. So that is just the basics about how to use the Laravel authentication and how to add your own user image or your user avatar to the user profile. So it's pretty simple to use. There's probably a lot more things that you will want to do, such as validation, but we just wanted to give you a quick rundown about how to upload an image avatar and associate that with a user. So I hope you found this video useful, and I will talk to you in a future video. Hey there, my name is Tony, and I'm the original creator of all the videos that you've been watching on the Dev Dojo YouTube channel. And I just want to thank you for subscribing or even watching this video, and I do want to take this time to let you know about a new platform at devdojo.com. And at Dev Dojo, you can learn premium lessons, series, and videos from web development, web design, and even tech in general. So I would encourage you to check it out and maybe subscribe to check out some of the premium videos, courses, and series.